Hello and welcome to Aggie Horticulture Facebook Live. I'm going to be talking about some things we can do to care for our lawns in the fall. First, we got to talk about the summer we just had. Days on end without rain, intense heat, that combination just flat killed large areas of many lawns. This particular lawn suffered not only from the drought damage, but also from damage from chinch bugs and from take-all root rot. Take-all root rot, like the name implies, kills the roots. You don't have roots, you can't take up water. And that's a three-way problem that has really caused this lawn to suffer. Now, what do? Well, examine your lawn. Go pull apart the lawn, look at the runners, and if you see just brown everywhere, well, it's gone. You need to replace that St. Augustine in that area. St. Augustine just lives flat up on top of the ground, and it has no good resilience once it dries up there. So, what do you do then? You look for how far apart the grass sections are that are still alive. If they're close together, maybe you can just wait, and by spring, when it begins to grow, if it's in good health, it will begin to close back in again. Otherwise, you're just going to need to replace those sections of the lawn. Now, I want to talk about some of the things we can do for our lawns going into this fall. First of all, there is nutrients. Now, throughout the year, we tell you to fertilize with a 3:1:2 or a 4:1:2 ratio. That's a lot of nitrogen, not much phosphorus, and a medium amount of potassium. When we go into the fall season, we want to drop that nitrogen down and keep that potassium as high as we can in the application in a ratio. Now, there are a lot of products that say they're for fall feeding or that they're a winterizer. Forget what the name says. Look at the ratio of nutrients on the bag. That's what matters. And the reason for this is during the growing season, we're trying to get our lawns to grow, and we need a lot of nitrogen for that. When we come to fall, we would like them to slow down. If you push a lawn into fall with a lot of nitrogen, then brown patch, which is now called large patch, is so much worse, and it creates quite a problem. So look for those fertilizers where the ratio of nitrogen and potassium are about the same, somewhere in there. That's kind of what we're looking for. So you want to apply those to the lawn and water them in very, very well. The second thing is dealing with take-all root rot. Now, if you want a lot of information on this disease and some other things I'm going to be talking about, go to agrilifelearn.tamu.edu, and there you can type in take-all root rot. You can type in brown patch, or it'd be better to type in large patch because that's what they call it now. And you can also deal with weeds by going to aggieturf.tamu.edu, and at AggieTurf they have a lot of good information on weed control. So, take-all root rot. There are fungicides we can use. You're going to need to do it in the fall season, and most importantly in the spring season as the grass is coming out of that dormancy or period where it's just not growing very much, depending on where you live in the state of Texas. Now, brown patch, also properly called large patch, causes the big large circles. So what we don't want to do is, number one, water a lot. You can't control the rain, but you can control your irrigation. Low nitrogen, don't push it, and mow a little bit higher. A lot of times people like to try to make St. Augustine into a golf course green just about. You want to mow higher because low mown St. Augustine is more prone to brown patch, large patch problems. As far as cool season weeds are concerned, we want to get a pre-emergent herbicide down if your lawn has a history of weed problems or if your lawn is thin. That's to control the cool season weeds like henbit or chickweed or carpetweed. There's a number of cool season weeds that will affect your lawn. What they do is they sprout in the fall, they grow as small plants through the winter like our bluebonnets do, and then in the spring they take off growing, blooming, and setting seed. We can shut those down in the fall. Here in the College Station area we do it about late September, early October. So just talk to your county AgriLife extension agent about the best time to apply all these things in the fall season. Now remember that you don't have to always apply a pre-emergent. If your lawn doesn't have a weed problem and things are okay, you may not even need one. And the same goes for large patch and take-all root rot. So the timing is very important because once the weeds are germinating, you're not going to be able to get control. They're a pre-emergent weed control product. So I want to talk about two things that are important with pre-emergent products. Number one, they have to be watered in. Read the label, follow the label. They need to be moved down into the soil surface, and that way when the weed tries to germinate, they can inhibit that weed's roots from being able to grow and establish. The second thing is, don't overdose them. You know, a teaspoon's good, so isn't a tablespoon better? No, it is absolutely not. I have seen lawns where they overdosed the pre-emergents, or they applied them twice in a very short time. They last several months. And you saw the runners with roots trying to go to the ground, and they just clubbed off. They couldn't even get into the soil because of that pre-emergent overdose that was there. Apply them properly, read that label, and they can do their work and they can help you. Now, these are a few things that you might be thinking about this fall. Again, just to reiterate, we're going to fertilize with a product with about the same amount of nitrogen as potassium. That would be our ideal going into the fall. We are going to make sure that we don't overdo it, but we apply the right amount and get it watered in really well. The time to do that is here in, again, College Station, about October. Secondly, if you've had a history of large patch, brown patch problems, make sure and get ahead of that disease, because once the circles appear, you're too late. You got to do it ahead of when those diseases tend to appear. Same thing is true with take-all root rot. We need to get it on about the time you would put down what you put down for your large patch. And there are a number of fungicides on that. Read the free information on AgriTurf, and you will find out exactly the product options that you have. And then the last thing is dealing with cool season weeds. A dense lawn is the best weed control. That's our long-term goal. Not to be on a treadmill, we're applying pre-emergents every year. But if you need to, apply that pre-emergent before they germinate. Talk to your county AgriLife Extension agent, and he can give you the best times for your area. Well, thanks for listening to Aggie Horticulture Facebook Live. For more information, go to aggiehorticulture.tamu.edu, where there's a wealth of very helpful information.